At North Central Illinois Custom Kydex, NICKYDEX.com. Check comments or the description for a link. Video today to talk about some revisions to some of our aluminum competition gear. The first thing, there'll be two videos. Just in this video, I'm going to talk about the cant adjustment plates, which we've been selling for a while, and based on my own use and a couple competitive shooters that have been using them, we've made a couple small revisions for the better. There will be a second video, much shorter, I think, because not as much to talk about, but on our actual holster mount bracket belt clamp system. So check for that video. I'll figure out a way to link to it or whatever, however YouTube works these days. Anyway, our cant adjustment plate. This is a first version, or not the first, but this is the one that we had been shipping. If you hadn't seen the video for this, there's another one. I might figure out how to put a link to that as well. But basically what this little guy is designed to do is bolt to your holster pouch, okay, and then bolt to a tech lock, and then it gives you the ability to rotate your magazine pouch on your belt. So you can set different cant angles to better suit your shooting style. All right. Good things about our system. Number one, it's aluminum, not plastic, so you're not really going to be able to destroy it. Number two, because we use a slotted system here for the cant adjustment, it's more or less infinite. Some of the other solutions that I've seen out there, not only do they cost more than these, and they're plastic, but they only allow a couple settings, either straight up and down, 45 degrees, or 90 degrees, and that's it. So if you don't want completely horizontal, completely vertical, or 45, that system doesn't work too well for you. Anyway, the way that this worked was you would have a round threaded post that would ride in these grooves, okay, and then that would allow you to rotate the magazine pouch. The drawback to this was when you were tightening the screws here, since this post is round, it would want to just turn instead of grabbing and staying put. Okay, not much of a problem like this, but once you have this on your magazine pouch, it can be difficult to try to get your finger behind there to hold it, or try to wedge a screwdriver behind there, and I kind of showed that in the other video. So these are the obsolete style. All right, this is the new style. What you'll notice is the center hole is no longer round, it's now oblong. And you may be able to notice, may not, these slots are much narrower, which actually does a great job of cleaning up the machining where the countersinks are not impeding into the channel, and you get all sorts of funky machining debris when that happens. But the way that these work is they will be shipping with different posts with flat sides that drop right in and sit just below flush, which is important. Okay, but then this allows you to tighten your screw without having this post spin on you. Same thing for the cant adjustments. Okay, they sit, they slide, they're nice and smooth, just below flush, but they're anti-rotational, right? Just like your sling mounts. So if you buy these from us, there's several ways that you can get them. You're either going to buy the complete system, where you're getting a magazine pouch made for your magazines, you're getting the cant plate, you're getting a tech lock, and all the hardware that you need comes included. They come, pre-assembled. You just have to set your cant angle you want and then clamp it on your belt. If you already have your own tech locks, that saves you some money because you can use your own tech locks. If you already have your own magazine pouches, they may work depending on what this hole pattern is, because that hole pattern has to line up with the hole pattern that we machine into our plates. So just give you a quick demonstration here. If you have the separate pieces and you have to assemble this, it's relatively easy. You're going to have 3 posts that go inside the magazine pouch, and then you're going to have 3 flathead screws. You're going to have 3 of our flat-sided posts, and then 3 truss head screws, okay, that are flat on the bottom and domed on the top. So again, all this hardware will come if you order the complete setup. First thing you got to do, take your flat-sided posts and install them into the plate. Okay, you have to do this first, because if you don't, you're never going to be able to get to the back side of this to install them. So drop it in so that it fits into the machining, and just install the screws just by hand. You know, they'll spin all the way down, but this is basically just to keep the plate from, or the post from falling out. You're going to do that with all 3. Boring part of the video, I know, but okay, so once you have that done, you're going to take your posts that fit inside the magazine pouch, install those. Generally, this is a one at a time operation. Now, when you're installing the cant plate onto the pouch, you need your screws facing away from the pouch, okay? And it's almost self-explanatory, because these holes are countersunk on this side and not on the back side, and they're countersunk so that your flathead screws will sit flush so that there's no hang-ups with the screw interfering, hitting the tech lock and preventing you from rotating everything. Alright, so you got 3 here to install. If you over snug them like that, they don't give you the ability to kind of wiggle things around how you need to. So you want to get all your hardware started first and then go back and snug it. And you want to use thread locker on all these. Whatever thread locker you like to use, I'm sure it'll work fine. We do ship thread locker with pretty much all our orders. The thread locker we ship is a brand called Vibratite. It's red, but it's not Loctite, so don't freak out. It's not, you know, permanent like that. It does install a little bit different if you read the instructions on the packet, which I hope you do. Basically, it says have all your screws out. You might want to degrease them with some rubbing alcohol or something like that. You install the thread locking material onto the screws, and then you let the material dry. It says 10 to 30 minutes depending on size, probably also depending on temperature and humidity and all of that. When dry, the fasteners are ready for assembly, or they can be stored for later use, blah, blah, blah. Basically, the nice thing about this is you can loosen and retighten the fasteners several times, and the Vibratite will still do its job. Loctite, once you remove the fastener, you've got to clean everything, degrease it again, and put new Loctite on, which for this application specifically, if you're going to be adjusting your cant, may not be the best. Alright, that's enough about thread locker. I'm sure you guys know how to use it. Now that you have your cant plate installed onto your magazine pouch, you may want to use a couple small squares of masking tape just on the back here, just as a temporary, sorry if I was off frame there, temporary measure to hold the posts from falling out, because if they fall out after you have the holster pouch on, you're probably going to have to take the holster pouch off, at least to get this one back in. This one on the back, you have a little bit more room. But basically, now we're just going to take these screws out, these 3 screws. And remember, we didn't tighten them, so they should come out nice and easy. Sorry, that's in the way of your viewing pleasure. I know this is a very exciting video. You guys want to see every detail. Alright, so now you can see why we have the tape on the back, so that if you tip this direction, the posts don't just fall through. Anyway, here's our 3 screws. Now we're going to install our tech lock, and what you'll notice is the 3 posts will line up with either the vertical holes or the horizontal holes. So depending on how much angle, you might want to kind of mock this up and figure out how much angle you think you're going to want, and then you can decide which screw holes are most appropriate. Not necessary, but I like to put the center screw in first, because that gives you a pivot point to be able to rotate and line everything else up. Now you don't want this tight. I just turn this until I can feel it, feel that pressure, back it off another half turn so that you have free rotation. Okay, and then simply line it up. At this point right now, the specific final cant is not set, so we're just rotating as we need to get the posts lined up with the screws, or the holes in the tech lock rather, and then just spinning the screws in. Alright, now that you've got those in, you can go ahead and remove and discard your tape, or hold on to it. If you're doing 5 of these, you might just reuse the same piece of the tape. So now you can see with the screws in the horizontal holes, we have a nice amount of rotation adjustment. If this isn't getting you where you need, let's say you want completely horizontal, just simply remove the screws from the 2 sides, rotate the holster pouch to about where you want it, and you'll probably end up using the vertical holes then. But again, like I said earlier, this allows you basically 360 degrees, however you want the holster to set, or the mag pouch to set. You could technically use these on a holster, but maybe not the perfect solution for cant on a holster. Depends on your specific application. But let's say I wanted to run these at this cant angle. Okay, once I had that figured out and I played with it on my belt and that's how I want it, then it's simply snugging these screws. Very easy. And because the backing posts are anti-rotational now, well, once you start turning the screw, the sides of the post engage the cant plate, stop it from rotating, and you're done. You don't have to typically monkey around with a screwdriver on the back, or trying to wedge your finger up in here, or any of these other contortionist moves that can be frustrating and cause you to start cussing at me because, it's not working easily. Once you have that, basically, tech lock it on your belt as you normally would, and you're set. If you're going to shoot a different class or different type of competition and you need to convert this to vertical, it is required that you take it off your belt to access these screws. But, you just loosen these a quarter to a half turn, okay, just to take that pressure off. Rotate so that your pouch is vertical. And there's a good indicator of vertical on here, because through these holes you'll be able to see the screws that are holding the plate to the holster pouch. So you can kind of line that up so that the screws are centered. Okay. Re-snug these screws. And again, this is why that Vibra-Tight that you can, you know, loosen and retighten several times. It's kind of nice. Retech lock that back on your belt. Now you got vertical, you're good to go for your, you know, whatever division or whatever competition you're shooting where you need vertical. So this is our version 2.0. I guess if you want to call it that. We're not changing the name, it's just our cant adjustment plates. But these are the current improvements. If you have any feedback or other ideas that you think could make these even better, I'd love to hear them. You know, we are working on the machining process to try to deliver an affordable solution for you with, you know, somewhat clean machine work. We're not taking tons of machine shop time to, you know, get all the edges nice and beveled and perfectly smooth and all that. We're looking for, right now, an affordable, functional solution. So there's our magazine cant adjustment plate. And check the next video for some information on our holster hangers. Thanks.